Hmm. Yay, it worked. Woo-hoo. Woo, 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 woo. Don't you get excited when things work, when you have to depend on other things to synchronize all the way along? It worked. We're on live right here at Ignite Your Joyful Heart Facebook group, a women only group where we figure out ways to up level ourselves, ignite our heart, ignite our passion, ignite who we are to grow and become more of what we came here to be, do, have, create, and experience. That sounds amazing, doesn't it, ladies? For those of you that are new to me, hi, I'm Tammy Lee with the Emerald Compass and the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood. I'm a highly intuitive, multidimensional facilitator of healing and transformation experiences. Everything from A to Z, up and down, left and right, all the way around. We leave no stones unturned when I work with you, when we work together, because where two or more are gathered, magic happens, and magic wants to happen. Today, on today's show, we're going to talk about how the anxiety, how we actually create the anxiety, the fear, the mistrust, how we actually create that within ourselves, and what it will take to just stop, to turn our lives around, to turn our thinking around. So as we start to come on here, please let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me, making sure that I have two different programs going. So I want to make sure they're both working to facilitate the best audio, the best video for us today here. I also want to remind you all, please feel free to chime in, even if you don't agree with me. I love having discussions that even if you don't agree with me, because we can always agree to disagree, but it also helps to open up the minds of others, open up my mind to new ways of thinking. I do not pretend that I know everything. I do not pretend I know everything. And I know that even though I'm a teacher, I'm still a student. Even though I am a healer, I still also need healing. Even though I'm a facilitator, I still turn to others that can facilitate me in groups or in person or one-on-one. So where's everybody from today? Go ahead and type in where you're from as people start to join. I'm just curious, where people tuning in from? And do you have friends in this Facebook group that you want to tag in here? Tag them on this. So, okay, let me go tag somebody. I'm just going to tag that girl right now. She just popped in my head. Come join us. I just tag somebody. That's as simple as you do it. You just put it in their name. You see it highlight. See how her name's highlighted right there? And you go with it. You go with it. Yes. Okay. So let me know where you're from as we're starting to jump on here. So even though I have, and that's why, because somebody just chimed in and says, can you help me? And maybe that's what today is about. So Terry, please introduce yourself a little bit and let me know what you want help with. And maybe that's what today is about, even though I started out a little different. So, Terry, let's see if we can help you right here, right now. I'm all ears, darling. So go ahead and tell me what you need help with. I will tell you, everyone I have ever worked with has had some kind of happy Wednesday to you too, Lou. Hey, Sina. Thanks for joining us today, Terry. So let me know what you need help with, and we'll address it right here, right now. I encourage you to go ahead and type it right here, Terry, because you never know, even if it's really personal. This is a private Facebook group. Even if it's highly personal what you want me to help you with, but by sharing your story here, as I share my stories throughout time and space, you actually can elevate. You elevate your spirit. You wake up your soul by sharing your stories. You actually call in other beings also that like to hear stories, such as a Sasquatch. Yes, just saying their name. They're here with us. Just saying that because they love stories. They love stories. So as we set this container right here today, I want you to take a deep breath, all of you that are joining in. Just take a deep breath. And when you exhale, just let all the worries of life, just let them fade away. Let everything from this morning, if you were tied up in knots, like that twist tie on the loaf of bread, you can unwind that twist tie, unwind that within you. And I just thought of a funny story I want to share with you. And so as we unwind, see, like by unwinding that twist tie, a story came into my head. So last week, note to self, brush the teeth or chew a piece of mint gum before you put on a face mask. So last week, I was helping somebody out, and so I wore a face mask, and I kept thinking, like, what smells so rancid? Like, I'm like, even like, is my face mask dirty? Did I step in dog poo? Like, what smells? Note to self, don't eat onions or garlic before you put on a face mask. So I lend you this very helpful piece of advice. Do not eat onions or garlic before putting on a face mask and wearing it all day. Oh my gosh. I usually keep it like under my nose so it doesn't fog up my glasses. But at this one time, I didn't do that. I had my whole face covered, and I'm like, what is that smell? Yeah, it was my breath. I'm like, okay, note to self, don't eat onions or garlic, because it doesn't matter if you brush your teeth. Don't eat onions or garlic before you wear a face mask. Oh, yeah, now my nose is dripping because I was laughing so hard. Oh, excuse me. So I don't like drippy nose, especially in front of all of you. So Terry, I'm just going to say, I'm not receiving anything from you if you message me, but I believe I can help you. And we can always find out. and I will tell you the truth if I cannot. Okay? Is I work with ancestors. I have helped clear demons and darker forces from people and situations and homes, and cleared, like, one of the things I even do on our own land is I activate different pieces of land that I work with, that I walk on, and allow, like, there are so many souls, fragmented soul pieces that are stuck in the land, and I've that's part of my work, that's part of my sacred work as I work with Mama Earth, is I'm guided to different parcels of land that have so many souls just stuck where we live. Is our kids are like the sixth generation, or maybe it's our grandkids, but anyway, it's like six generations strong. And we don't know the suffering that has happened to these other generations, even in a home that you live in, with somebody else living in it. Even when you cut down the wood, like when the wood is cut for your home, what was going on with the tree? What was going on with those that were cutting it? Were they pissed as they're cutting it? All that energy, comes into, let's just say, the wood. You buy the wood. Like, there is a lot that goes in to clearing a home, to clearing the land. It's not just one and done. Sometimes it takes hours to work on that. Because you go, like, for a home, for instance, you go into the walls, you go into the pipes, you go into all these different things. It's just not what you see, it's also what you don't see. And one of the things that was really remarkable, one of the original buildings that's still up is, we call it the Wesh House. That's where Tim's grandmother and great grandmother would do the laundry out in the wash house, especially during the summer months. That's where they would take their baths, out in the wash house. That's where they would do their canning, their cooking in the summertime, out in the wash house, to try to keep the heat out of the main house. So as I was clearing the land, I did not know I was going to tell this story. This is really interesting. As I was clearing our land, like, I just get called. I get these intuitive hits. So let's just say we live here, the wash house is over here. As I was working with the land and clearing the wash house, because I could feel it speak to me, I could hear it speak to me. I could feel Tim's grandmother, because she suffered a lot of sorrow, heartache, deep heartache, that she was never able to really mourn. Her first two babies, they both died. Tim's dad, Marion, he's the oldest of four siblings, but he had two older brothers. And these two older brothers, they both died when they were like a year and a half. One was a year and a half. I think one was like 3 or 4, from what I remember, what grandma told me. And she never, because it was such a time of, you got to keep working, and Tim's dad is already born, and when the second son died, and now she's got this baby, and how can she mourn but still take care of this baby, which is Tim's dad? And just heartache. And as I was clearing that building, I'm inside in my sacred space, and I'm clearing it, and I feel this whoosh, like this air. I know it was like that's, I could feel it. I could see it in my mind's eye of this, like this energy just went whoosh from the wash house by our house. This was the house we live in, was not the original house. And I could feel Tim's grandmother. Oh my gosh, she was so like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like so much of her was freed. So that's just an example for all of you, not just for Terry, but for all of you, of some of the work that I do. And again, every single person I've worked with, they have had results. They have had results. Yeah, I thought I slobbered. So Terry, if you don't feel comfortable writing here in the text chat, I understand. Send me a private message, or you can email me at hello@theemeraldcompass.com. Again, hello@theemeraldcompass.com, or send me a Facebook message and let's talk. Okay, reach out to me, Terry. If you don't feel like you can type it here in the text chat. Yes, let's see if I can help you, darling. So, how is everyone doing? Really, how are you doing in these times right now? I notice a lot of people full of anxiety, full of fear, full of even me, I got kind of hung up a little bit for maybe like 10 minutes. Now, I'm going to try to not let this be too much TMI, but I have to say this part. So last week, I woke up with a really bad stomach ache. And so I knew to sit on the toilet because my body evacuated everything that was in there. Plus probably old stuff, like everything just went whoosh. And I probably sat on the toilet maybe 20, 30 minutes just to make sure. But during that time, I'm feeling a little bit of chills and then feverish. And okay, so what do I think of right away? Can you guess? When you're not feeling the best, feeling a little feverish, clammy, what's the first thing you think of? Probably the virus. How many of you have found yourself caught up in something like that? Just type in the text chat, yes or no. If you feel a little warm, if you are short of breath for some reason. I'm just trying to think of all the different symptoms because I even looked it up. So, and as I was sitting there, because here's the main point of today. We create a non-existent future with our thoughts. Whatever we're thinking about, we're already creating a non-existent future with that because it's in the future, right? So I'm sitting there and thinking about the virus, about Rona, and at first I did get a little scared. I'm like, I can't be sick. I got too much to do, and I felt a little bit that. And then I calmed myself down. I mean, I wasn't like really out of it, but I just like took a deep breath and I just told myself, Tammy, you've had stomach aches like this before. This doesn't necessarily mean anything. And as soon as I said that to myself, my whole body started to calm down. But I also energetically talked to the virus. I talked to Rona, and just energetically, like, I know you've been, what was the word I used? Hijacked. I know you've been hijacked. I know you didn't want to create this havoc. I know this is not your fault. So by also addressing that piece of what I'm thinking about and how, because when we think about something and we think it is horrible, we actually literally put the energy, let's just say horrible, like you think something's horrible, you literally put the energy of the horrible that you're thinking into it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just think about this for a moment. All the fear mongering that's going on within the media, trying to really scare us, like to the nth degree, like beyond and above and beyond, like media, whomever is like really trying to freaking scare the human race. Because if they can make you fearful, they have control over you. So whether it's government, media, whatever you want to say, those people, that those institutions, those people that are instilling fear in us. So by talking to the virus as I'm on the toilet, having a bad stomach ache, my body evacuating, I can even feel it ease, because she knew I knew the truth of it. And I was no longer scared. I was, and for a moment, even with all the energy work I do, darlings, even with all the inner work I do, we still are human. We can still have these moments that pop up. That was a perfect example for me. So how do you, in the moment, change that? Can you catch yourself when you're in the moment? One of the biggest, simplest, but most powerful ways is when you're getting all tied up in knots, take a deep breath. You may think it's like, how can that be that simple, Tammy? It makes a difference, because with our breath, our body starts to relax. The heartbeat starts to slow down. So everybody just take a deep breath right now for a moment. Can you feel like that settling into you, feeling like a grounding feeling just by the breath? Just by the breath. And it brings you back into your body and out of your head, out of the mind that's creating a non-existent future. I could have let myself be tied up in knots. But this is when you do the work consistently. When you're in those moments, it's like a recall to your what you've been taught, what you've been practicing. It's a recall. Seven years ago, Well, before I go there, so let me know, is this resonating with you? Are you seeing how we can create a non-existent future full of fear and worry? Just how we think about things, just how we as humans think about things, talk about things without, sometimes we got to clear our own slate. Sometimes we have to clear our own slate. So let's see who typed in the text chat. Luann says, I do a lot as my husband and I already had it. You do a lot of what, hun? You do a lot of, I'm thinking you do a lot of thinking how bad it could be, even though you already had it. Not quite sure what you do a lot of. So if you can, Luann, if you can go ahead and clarify that, that'd be great. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Joy. Hi, Joy. Thanks so much for joining. Continue blessings for the work you bring forth. Thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. More than you know, darling. More than worrying. You do a lot of worrying. Okay. And where does that worry get us? That's why we just take that deep breath. Sometimes we physically need to do something to shift our mind. So look behind the worry. What is creating the worry? Sometimes it can be who we surround ourselves with. Are we looking at the, okay, are we looking at the media too much? Are we, like I just experienced this with a family member not too long ago, that in the morning they turn on their TV. At night when they come home from work, they turn on their TV. It's always on the news channel. I encourage you all, will you take what would be a vacation? Let's just say a vacation away from the TV, a vacation away from the media. And just be without that. So, Luann, I tend to think, knowing you, how I know you, that you and your husband are doing everything possibly known to stay healthy and keep up your immune system, especially after you both have had it. Do you understand? Like, I would be asking yourself, like, why am I worrying? Like, it's more than I just don't want him to get it again. There's more behind that. There's more to. Bottom line. Yes, there's more to that of why you're worrying. So if you choose to, I would like dig down, and find that core reason of why the worrying is there. And I'm already sensing it. Yeah. And if you'd like to share here, if you can get that far that quick, bottom line, Where's the worrying? Oh, I left my phone on. So let this be a reminder for all of us too. Turn off our phones or put them on mute. So when we allow worry or fear to manipulate us, even our own thoughts, darlings, to guide us, to tell us how to walk in life, how to be in life. You know, I did not know I was doing this 7 years ago. Wow, it's really been, 2013. In 2013, I left my marriage. I walked out. I was done. But I didn't do it till November. I was going to do it in March or April. And then it just didn't, I could feel it wasn't right. It wasn't the right timing. There was a lot of different reasons. If you read my book, The Second Start, Finding Joy in the New You, it goes a lot more into that story. And one of the things I had somebody say to me, because I just couldn't get out of my head about, oh, my kids will hate me, like all these stories. I have no support. My kids will hate me. I will never be able to see my grandkids again. I had 11 at that time. Actually, I had 10. One was going to be birthed. How am I going to afford it? I don't want to take everything away from my husband because I don't want to hurt his dreams or my children's dreams. So I was going to let him have 80% of everything. And other people were saying, no, you don't do that. I mean, I was willing to go to pretty much give almost everything because I was so done. I was burnt. And I saw no hope. I saw no hope for us working it out. And I could feel something trying to push me out. You know, it's one of the very best decisions I've ever made in my life, even though it was the scariest. I was terrified. But what happened when somebody else caught me, said, Tammy, do you see how you're creating a non-existent future with your thoughts? You're driving yourself crazy. You're getting fat, which I was. I still haven't lost it. Because when we create all that havoc in our minds of creating a non-existent future with the worst scenarios, we have a cascade of hormones that are not good for us, of that are leaving our body or coming into our bodies that are being released into our bodies. Are you creating havoc in your life with your thoughts? Are you creating havoc in your own life with your thoughts and not realizing it's actually coming from you. Because so many people will look at somebody else and say, it's them, it's them, it's them, instead of looking in the mirror and say, well, where's my responsibility in this? Where's my accountability? Am I allowing the media to influence me to the point that I'm creating thoughts that are playing havoc with me? Let me ask you this. If Rona was a simple flu, just a strong flu virus, what's with the virus? We've always been told you can't heal a virus. You can't, that a virus needs to run its course. How many times have you gone to the doctor and they say, oh, it's a virus? Like, think about all the years ago, all the different times you didn't feel right. And you go to the doctor and they say, oh, it's a virus. It's got to run its course. There's nothing I can do to help you. Just try to be as comfortable as possible. So what if that was just the protocol? Would you be getting all tied up in knots about worry and extreme things? Like, even I got caught up in the grocery store stuff. I look at myself, I'm like, what, Tammy? Really? Like, back in April, May, and everybody's going to the grocery store because, oh, we're going to be shut down, blah, blah, blah. And I caught myself. So Luann just shared, so true. Wow, so true. I just need to breathe, live life, smile, and not worry. And it's not if you not worry. When you start to worry, ask yourself why. Go behind the worry. Where is it coming from? Is it legit? Is something scary going on? Like last week, me calling the ambulance, the first time I've ever called the ambulance for somebody, for my mom. Yeah, I was worried, legitimately worried, scared. I was scared. My daughter calls me on the phone. Mom, how are you? I start crying. I can't even talk. She's like, okay, I'll be right over. Helping my mom, calling the ambulance. I guess when it's like a broken leg or arm, that's one thing. I don't know. It could still be as scary, but this was like, I didn't know what was wrong with my mom. Kind of like, what the hell? So, well, I said more than what the hell. But anyway, but I allowed that emotion. So this is another thing. When that worry comes up, maybe it's just pent up emotion that we haven't allowed ourselves to feel. That could be it, some of it. Because there are times, even as energy workers, as good as you are, no matter how much you do your work, you can still get caught up in the collective thought. When I say the collective, like all humans, the whole collective of everything we're all going through right now, of everything that's out there with this election, with the fear mongering going on and the drilling down, like you should do this, like even like the finger pointing. all that energy. And when other people don't know how to deal with it, when they don't even know how to recognize it, we could be getting caught up in that energy of the collective mass, not even realizing. Have you been tired a lot lately? Have you feel listless? Have you been negative? Have you been worrying more? Have you been anxious? That can come from being with this whole collective, like the whole energy. I mean, with the riots and all of that stuff, that energy is in the air. And if you don't know how to deal with it or recognize it, then it can attract to you. Or maybe it's already attracting to you, even me. And so I keep tabs on myself of, okay, how am I feeling? Do I need to go walk in nature? Do I need to go plant something, or trim the rose bushes? Have I been outside? Have I sat in the sun? Just by doing those types of things can shift your energy for you. Here's something I want you to also think about. Whew. When you start to feel this stuff, whatever it may be for you, love you too, darling. Ask yourself, like, take a moment, take a deep breath. Like, if you're starting to feel anxious, if you're starting to feel worried, take a deep breath. Is this mine? Is this mine? Sometimes it's not even your own energy. Sometimes, yes, it's your energy. Sometimes, yes, it is pent up emotion you've never allowed to be that you have shushed. Thank you for that. Sometimes it's energy that you have shushed or pushed down, or you've been shushed by mama or daddy when you were growing up. Shh, get over it. It's done. It's not just as adults, women. It's also from when we were younger that we have taken our energy and held it down. So yes, sometimes it's that too. That all this emotional havoc that is playing a part of our lives wants to, like, will you just surrender? I can feel this right now. Will you just surrender? Allow the emotion to speak. So it's tired of being stuck in you. It's tired of being stuck in you. It wants to be set free. Will you allow it to have a voice? Will you allow the worry to have a voice? Will you allow the anger to have a voice? Will you allow the anxiousness to have a voice? Just ask it. What is it you want to say? I see you. I hear you. I feel you. Whatever that is, what is it you want to say? I can, like right now, I'm thinking of the Rona, the virus, and I can hear it say, I can hear her say, "Don't make me out to be the bad guy, please." So by doing that, and I'm like, okay, so I send back to her, I don't, you're not, in my eyes, you're not the bad one. And it kind of just like set her free from me. Are you following me? So when we get tied up in knots, when we start all these other things we're creating a non-existent future in our head. Like, ask when that energy comes, is this mine? And just feel like, is there yes or no? Does it feel solid, like a yes? If you're kind of wavering, that could be your no. You can then say, return to sender. It's not all your job to heal everybody else's stuff. I had to hear that more than once. It's not your job to have to heal everybody else's stuff. You can return to sender. And you can also take back your own energy. How many times have you, yeah, me too. I caught myself about a month ago. I was driving by a person's house. His wife passed away a year ago. And he wasn't the nicest person. And every time I drove by his house, I would think about that. And I would be saying in my head, or I'd say it out loud in my car, how not nice he was. And then one day it dawned on me, like, holy crap, I'm sliming this guy. I don't know the whole backstory. I don't know what he suffered in his childhood, if he suffered, or maybe it's something from a different lifetime that he brought with him this time to work it out, so he wouldn't be carrying it on the next lifetime. But what in that moment, when I realized that, I started taking back all my energy from him, like taking it all back. So not only can energy we're feeling not be ours, but we also can be sending it out to others that's not of the highest frequency. We can be sliming other people by our thoughts, by our actions, by our saying yes when we mean no. So as we go into this next week, a couple of things I highly suggest. You're welcome, darling. I'm about ready to wrap up anyway. Thanks, Luann, for joining today. Just love you. Thank you for helping me today. If you know anybody that wants to be in this group, feel free to invite other people. Feel free. Carol says, yep. Where'd Carol? Oh, yep, to all of it. Going back to the office has kicked this all in. Yeah. So as we go through the next week, I highly encourage everybody to stay away from all media. Don't even turn on your TVs. Don't even turn on your TVs for a week. Just try it for a week and see how that goes. If you, not for a week. Today's Wednesday. How about the next 3 days? Do a detox of media, news, and see how that may shift your mind, how that may shift your energy. Also, here's a good question to ask yourself. When you feel that anxiousness or that worry or the anger or the uneasiness, am I creating a non-existent future with my thoughts? Take a deep breath. Feel what your body is doing. Can you feel like it just like sinks in? It kind of like a wet dog. Like I can feel it. Like shakes your head like a wet dog. Like shakes all that stuff off of you. When you take that breath, 3 times. Are you creating a non-existent future with your thoughts? Of worry, of anxiousness, of blame, of the what ifs. Like, how can that take you into a real spiral? What if, what if, what if? Yeah. Are you creating a non-existent future with the what if thoughts in your head? Start to catch yourself. If you need help, just reach out to me. Get you on my calendar. We can do a session. Yeah. Yeah. It's even a special price for any of you that mentioned this video. Okay, I just heard that. Offer that. Okay. Well, this is Tammy Lee with the Emerald Compass and the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood 8-month program, which we are doing some incredible work there. If you need to get a hold of me, you can either send me a Facebook message or you can email me at hello@theemeraldcompass.com. Again, hello@theemeraldcompass.com, or send me a message or just type it in the, let's just keep this conversation going right here in the Facebook group. Like what else is going on? Just what other thoughts, what other things besides the worry? What else is coming up? What else is coming up? Let's start to get a handle on all this so you can live your best life possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today. I believe in you. I believe in you. And I'm here for you. Cheers, everyone.